Okay, so I watched 4 games last night. It started at 1 p.m. and it ended all the way out at like 11 something. I got notes for a lot of these games. I will be covering Raptors, Cavs. I will be covering Wolves, Nuggets. I'll be covering Atlanta Hawks, New York Knicks. My notes for the Lakers game did not really extend out very long. It was pretty clear that the game was over for a while. The game was over. So that game was over pretty much as soon as it started. We'll get to it. Cleveland was playing against Scott was playing against Scotty Barnes and the Toronto Raptors. They have Brandon Ingram. Quickly is missing from the series. That is their starting point guard for the playoffs in the postseason. That was their plan. They did not have him. I don't think he'll play for the rest of the series. He had a hamstring injury at the tail end of the season, and that probably will sideline him from the series at least for 2-3 games at the bare minimum. And even when he comes back, he won't be the same player. Ironically enough, quickly is probably not going to be moving too quickly off of the hamstring injury. So notable players and assignments for these two teams and what they're doing. We have Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are going to be going up against Scotty Barnes and Jakob Poeltl. Jakob is not going to be able to guard those two for most of the games, especially with the pick and rolls that Harden and him are going to be running. And Mitchell can also get in on those pick and roll actions, those pick and pop actions sometimes. I do not think that they have a chance in this series. I'm going to be completely honest. The way I predicted the series and what I saw from this Raptors team versus this Cavs team is not what most people would have predicted. Especially considering the reason the Cavs and the Raptors game went the way it was going for a long time is because the Raptors were shooting threes. And I don't think anyone can really understand how they were shooting threes. But let me explain how great they were at shooting threes. At halftime, they were 8 of 15 from 3. This is a team that does not average 40. This is a team that does not average 43s. They don't average 43s attempted. They're a team that likes to get in transition and run. They had 1 transition point. They had 1 point off of turnovers as well. They could not generate turnovers last night. If they don't turn you over, they're not doing anything. This is a team that scores most of its points in the third quarter, and they do not win basketball games if they do not score a lot of points in the third quarter. The reason they don't win a lot of games is when the game gets tight in the fourth quarter, much tighter, and the starters coming back in and they're trying to finish out games and stuff. This team is not good at executing at the tail end of the games. So if you have the Raptors winning this series, I think you might want to reconsider. It's not too late. The series just started. But yeah, it's not gonna go well for them. The bigs, Mobley and everybody really, were just shooting really well from the free throw line for the Cavs. That's something that I don't see sustaining at the rate that they did because they were shooting 12 at a certain point in this game. Until Jared Allen misses both free throws. You know, we had some great defensive. Another matchup you should be looking out for is Brandon Ingram and Max Strus. Max Strus fried. With all due respect, Max Strus coming off the bench was torching the Toronto Raptors. I do not think that will be sustainable for an entire series. Strus is a great shooter, and when he came back, he was shooting the piss out of the ball. That being said, I'm not sure if that's going to be maintainable for a playoff run the way he's shooting it. But I would like to see it. It'd be great if it happened. This team they were close. It was close. It was a close game for like the first 2 halves. Adam Silver was present at the game. I didn't expect him to be at this one. I thought he would certainly be at the Garden watching the Hawks game. I did not expect him to be there. Maybe even Denver and the Wolves game. I was not expecting him to be at Raptors Cavs. Okay, so Scotty Barnes and Evan Mobley opened up the game very quickly. Scotty got into a little bit of foul trouble. So if you're wondering why Scotty's minutes don't look the way they should, Scotty got into foul trouble very quickly. He got an offensive foul that I think was earned. But after that, the defense had been actually very solid by the Cavaliers. They were making it hard to get to the rim, and this team again eats at the paint. I think the game plan is to let Scotty Barnes shoot. Scotty Barnes is not a great creator from the 3-point line. From what I can tell, his catch and shoot threes are much better than his creation threes. But considering he has to create a lot of offense, with Emmanuel quickly being out of the series, I just look forward to putrid numbers from 3. I do not think he will maintain making 4 out of 5 threes a game. That's not going to happen. RJ Barrett, when the game was really open, has really opened up, and it was just the Cavs could not miss at this point in time. He was solid. He was a lot better The Cavaliers onset just kept going. Dr. Strus was giving these people problems. It was really interesting. I think Mitchell before the halftime gives Strus the ball in a very great pass. He catches it with like a couple of seconds left even, and flicks it up and in, and they go into half. That was pretty much the momentum. All of the momentum that they had, they carried that on to the third quarter. The Cavaliers are a great third quarter team, obviously, even to a better degree than the Toronto Raptors, who need a lot of their offense coming in the third, because again, they are a very poor team when it comes to executing in the fourth. From what I noticed, I just don't think the Raptors really have a particular chance, and this is with the Cavaliers shooting well. But again, that was with the Raptors shooting well as well. I'm not sure how the defense will maintain, but it's something to be looking forward to. I have a lot of notes on these games. This is the start of my page for the notes for the Cavaliers game. Continues on to here. Break is for each game. All right. The Cavaliers continued to shoot great in the fourth quarter. It just did not. The onslaught did not stop. Tyson struggled, and he struggled for a very long time. Him and Scotty Barnes both got techs. I don't think that'll matter, to be completely honest. Neither of these players are really particularly high in technicals earned, like a Luka Doncic or whatever. So that won't result in any suspension. So if you're worried about that, don't be. It's nothing to be worried about. The Cavaliers shot the free throws extremely well in this game. That was a big difference maker for them as well. The Raptors could not stop fouling too. The pace that the Raptors like to play at is a very fast pace, and the Cleveland in comparison is a very slow-paced team. That has a lot to do with the ISO ball that Mitchell and James Harden like to play, dictating the pace. And hey, a very big problem for the Raptors is going to be when the Cleveland Cavaliers are up, because even though Harden turned over the ball a couple times, the pace that he plays at the game, dribbling the air out of the ball, that actually takes a lot of time off the clock. So it's really hard to come back against a James Harden and Donovan Mitchell team. Not only because the offense that they're providing to the team, but they just take up a lot of time on the clock. It is not going to be easy for them to come back in the series. I think Brandon Ingram looked very good, in my opinion. Unfortunately, because Scotty Barnes was in foul trouble, they never really had a chance to begin with. And this team just did not get into transition. It really was not anything noteworthy, to be honest. The final score of this game is 113-26. The Cavaliers had opened up a more than 20-point lead, so if you were expecting a closer game, you didn't really get it. Wolves Nuggets, on the other hand, was a much more interesting game. Unlike the Cavaliers game, where this game was basically broken open at halftime and it never looked back, even when the Raptors tried to do their best. And I do want to point this out. The Raptors scored as many points as the Cavaliers did in the third and they scored slightly less than they did in the third. They scored as much as they did in the fourth. The problem was that they had already put themselves in a hole that was too big to come out of. There was no coming back from that. The lead had opened up too much. I'm wondering how Tyson will bounce back from this game. I'm pretty concerned about that. It was just, I have a note here that said I was 95% sure the Raptors are not making a comeback, and I was already ready to move on from this game and go into this. The paint points is a big emphasis of this series. The Cavaliers had 42 paint points, what I noted when I hadn't taken a note of it. The Raptors at that point had 26. The Raptors, they got to eat in the paint. They're not getting to the paint. They're not doing anything. They're not going to have a chance of winning the series. It's not going to happen. Wolves Nuggets. Obviously, the Nuggets won this game, but I just want to quickly point out this game was much more physical. It was a much more intense game. These two teams do not like each other. Jamal Murray was getting to the free throw line really easily. Chris Finch early lost his challenge in the game. Oh no, Chris Finch won a challenge against Jokic. Jaden McDaniels had drive to the rim, right? To do a poster dunk, and Jokic nearly was supposed to rise. Hits J-Mac on the elbow. They think it's a missed dunk. They have to waste a challenge, unfortunately, they call it. They win the challenge. Ant had rarely played since March. So going into this game, we did not know the version of Anthony Edwards we were really going to get. I just didn't know that. He played so little games. I remember having the discussion, talking about the MVP discussion, and be like, he's still in the race. How many games will he play? Will he qualify, right? They flip-flopped on that role already. They already gave exceptions to Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham. Now, Cade, absolutely understandable. But if Ant can't get one, I'm wondering why Luka got one. With Cade, it's really just a collapsed lung. Like, that has nothing to do with basketball. I don't know what to say about that. Like, if that's gonna happen to anyone, yeah, you probably want an exception for that. Ayo Dosunmu was trying to keep these guys alive. I'm not gonna lie. Ant and him, Rudy Gobert, ironically enough, was someone they were getting offense from. Rudy Gobert was doing a lot for this team last night. The defense, the rebounding, the way he was guarding Jokic. And I know Jokic still got a triple-double, but that's Jokic. Jokic is going to get a triple-double on anyone. It doesn't matter who's out there. It doesn't. Jokic is starting the game off, though he had started really, really cold. And Evers, he got hit in the nose. I swear from the moment he got hit in the nose to literally the rest of the game, he was just a different beast. The Nuggets had scored 12 straight. It was just... everybody was running. They are the number one offense in the league, and they're the number one offense for a reason. And the reason that they're the number one offense is Jokic can see everything and knows where everybody is, knows everybody's tendencies and stuff. And the turnovers that Jokic gives, I'm sorry, the playmaking that he gives, it's just not, the turnovers do not come nearly close to that. You're not going to win off of just Jokic turnovers. And Jokic had a couple of bad turnovers. Jamal Murray also had a couple of bad turnovers. The reason this game looked the way it did, Jamal Murray was getting to the line effortlessly, and they had built a very good lead. Now, Jamal was not getting to the line nearly as much in the second and third quarter. They made some adjustments. Chris Finch and the coaching staff, shout out to them, made some adjustments, and Jamal Murray was not as effective. But Aaron Gordon, who had gotten into foul trouble early, he showed up. I did not see, and I have very little notes on Julius Randle's basketball game last night, and I just didn't think it was noteworthy to talk about his struggles. To be fair, though, to be completely fair to Julius Randle, Aaron Gordon is a tough matchup. He can't. Julius likes to play bully ball. You can't bully Aaron Gordon. It's not happening. So they need to find switches for him. I'm not really sure what this offense is going to do. To be quite honest, it is hard having Rudy Gobert on your team offensively, even though Rudy Gobert was good last night offensively even. I just don't think that it's easy enough to generate offense with Rudy Gobert on the floor. But if you take him off the floor defensively, you're just screwed. That is a problem that you're going to have with him. I like how people pretend that that's the same problem as Luka not being as good on defense. Number one, defense is a team thing. And the reason that Rudy Gobert is on the team is because he elevates the team's defense. He elevates everything. His communication, his skills like that. It's not just the blocks. It's not just the deterring of the shots. It's not just all that. It's everything. It's everything he does on the defensive end. The problem is the offensive end is so much more important than the defensive end, and I need people to remember this. Unless you are a truly transcendent defensive player like a Rudy Gobert and even a Wemby, but Wemby actually has an offensive game. Yes, he has an offensive game. I will not say it's a deep bag, none of that. It doesn't need to be a deep bag. Shaq didn't really have a deep bag either, and I think people need to realize this. Now, to be fair to Wemby, and to be fair to Shaq averaged way more points than Wemby. Duh. But they're not asking that of Wemby. So the defensive, and by the way, Wemby's an anomaly. The defense that he's giving you is equivalent to some of these guys' offenses, especially considering how average, with him just being average on offensive and not just being average for a superstar. That's good enough. That's more than enough. And if whatever else he gives you on the offensive end is a bonus, especially considering the gravity that he gets. He has gravity like Stephen Curry has gravity. You have to send two to him because he's free points otherwise. Free, efficient points. Not hard, tween, heavy cross, none of that. Easy 2 points. Put the ball in the basket, get it out the net. Jokic was doing great. Now David Adelman gets teched up trying to challenge something, and they win. I'm pretty sure they won this challenge. Let me see my notes right here. Yeah, they win this challenge. He was teched up. Aaron Gordon. No, they lose this challenge, actually. Aaron Gordon had an offensive foul called on him. Working on Mike Conley, it didn't. And at the start of the second half, it was looking all Nuggets, man. I'm not gonna lie. 43-36. The Wolves had really gotten close. I really thought they could do something, and then Jamal Murray went to the line. Jamal Murray went right back to the line. They could not stop Jamal Murray at a certain point in this game. It was all knotted up at halftime, 62-62. Jokic had a couple of fouls. We were just Not sure how this game was going to end. The difference maker, and DiVincenzo started the game off hot. DiVincenzo continued the game shooting from three, but it just wasn't enough. They did not get enough offensive production from the rest of their guys. It just was not. It wasn't enough, man. Some notable moments from there: a costly turnover from Randall when the game was 95-92. Jokic, the game had gotten close as 2 points, by the way, in the fourth quarter. It was very, very close. Rudy Gobert had another amazing moment. Jokic shooting threes. I just want to point this out too. If you have Jokic shooting top of the key threes, which I don't know why he shoots them, I would rather have Jokic as a corner 3-point shooter, but again, he has the ball in his hands a little bit much for him to be a 3-point shooter and a spacer in the corner. But I would like him to take more of those threes than top of the key threes because he is abysmal at them. And I know people are saying to themselves, but he shoots a high percentage of them. Actually, since the All-Star break, he's been shooting not only below league average, not only below his standards, but in a really, really, really egregious way. And when he shoots a lot of threes, that is a bad sign. Jokic shooting a lot of threes is not good for this team's offense. It kills momentum, and guys don't cut when Jokic is shooting threes. Or Jokic is shooting threes because guys aren't cutting and moving around. Rudy Gobert is going to stag in the paint. I think that's a good idea from Chris Finch to just keep Rudy Gobert in the paint. If Jokic wants to play on the perimeter, cool, bro. We want those shots from you. Go ahead. If Jokic does hit those threes, though, it hurts a lot in those moments, but he's likely not going to. Even if they are wide open. And I mean wide open. Like practice shots. Sometimes he's going to miss those. And most of the time, at this point in the season, I think he is going to miss those. Especially after coming back from injury, maybe doesn't have the same lift that he needed to hit them. That's something to be worried about. Ant, I do not want to say Ant shrinked, but Ant just... Later in the game, it was a very pointless double tech on Julius Randle and Jokic. I really don't know what was going on. But at this point in the game, I was just like, it's 97-108 to 106. They just kept going and kept going. The lead was whatever. I was really looking forward to the Atlanta game. Let me talk about the Atlanta game really quickly. Hey, the Atlanta game, I'm not going to lie to you. Final score of that game, by the way, 105-116. It was Atlanta versus New York Knicks. There was a couple things that I want to note real quick. Brunson started the game off absolutely nuclear hot, but the game was close. So I'm thinking in my head, oh, Cat's not getting activated. We got a close game. CJ's going nuts. Jalen Brunson got 17 in the first, but no, he had 19. He finished 19 in the first on like 72% shooting at that point in time. And I'm just thinking to myself, if Jalen Brunson is this hot and they're this close, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna get some production from OG? OG to this point had not turned it on. Karl-Anthony Towns to this point had looked passive, and the only way he was getting offense initiated is because he was passing the ball out. They run a little two-man game. It looks like a handoff. JB does not get the ball initially in the handoff, and Jalen Brunson is who I'm talking about when I say JB. He gets the ball in the handoff, and Cat throws it over to them. Now, he mistimed a lot of those passes, so clearly that's not something that they work on all of the time. But I think if Cat ever gets those passes consistently and they don't result in just turnovers, that'll be good. By the way, again, I'm worried about this team because of Cat offensive foul tendency and the fact that they tried hacking Mitchell. It kind of backfired on them in this series though. They tried to hack Donovan Mitchell, my bad. Mitchell Robinson. And it did not pay off. I saw Zachary Ricochet in the game. I was puzzled at first why he was there. Quickly came to realize the reason he's in the game in the first place is because they're missing another big and they need somebody to guard Cat. So if Cat is going to be, again, another mismatch problem, a big that's going to give them problems, yeah, that's going to be something. As far as the Hawks, Jalen Johnson, that was a bad game. Dyson Daniels, he's not going to give you a lot offensively. They're really relying on CJ McCollum, and with Nickeil Alexander-Walker not showing up last night, yes, I do want to point the blame to him because they need somebody to create offense, and if he's not going to do it, and Mo Gay, by the way, and Okongwu were solid. I don't want anyone to think that they weren't doing their job. They were doing as best as they could to guard Cat. Cat is still too big for them though. too big. I think soaking wet. These guys don't have enough. Are not in the same weight class as him either. They're cooked. It's not exactly uh, the same. I don't know they're both heavyweights, but hey, one of these guys is a lot closer to 290, and one of these guys is a lot closer to 250, 270. It's not the same. It really isn't. With some circle shots from CJ McCollum. CJ was going crazy. Hart had a coast to coast that failed. That's why we got the circle shot from CJ. Cat was having a lot of fouls. We were 6:28 into the second quarter, and I was thinking to myself, "Oh God, is he gonna have a problem with that?" By the way, Kuminga gave him solid production off the bench. I think he's gonna have to start in this series because Dyson Daniels does not give you enough offensively. Dyson Daniels was not guarding Brunson nearly as much, so I'm not really sure what the plan is with that. I personally would just put Nickeil Alexander-Walker on him and have that be his primary matchup. I think if Nickeil... And by the way, Jalen Brunson's going to hit some tough shots, but I think if Nickeil can bother him enough and you can wear him down with Dyson, staggering those minutes, I think that could be interesting enough. And Jalen Johnson needs to be on Cat. I'm going to be honest. I think Jalen is the only player on the team that actually has the weight behind his frame enough to actually deal with Karl-Anthony Towns from what I saw last night. Jock Landale is out. They need the secondary big that they really traded for and they really needed. He's just not going to be in the series and I'm not sure if he will be there soon. I really hope he comes back, but they need him. They need an answer for Cat. Cat was looking for his first points slightly into the second half. He gets it off of some free throws. By the way, Cat was great from the free throw line last night. They could not help but foul him. Again, too big for Okongwu. Again, too big for them. OG had a moment where he rolled his ankle. Look for that. I'm not really sure how he'll recover from that, how he'll be doing that. He's played it off and was kind of fine. Cat hit all of his free throws last night from what I could see, from what I saw, from what I noted. He was, at a certain point, he was 7 for 7. When OG rolled his ankle, I was a little worried. And this is by the point of the game where they tried to do hacking Mitchell Robinson. And the problem with the hacking Mitchell Robinson is any subsequent fouls after that are going to be in the bonus and they're going to be on a good free throw shooter. And I think it's a good idea to have him on the court and generate those fouls because you can pull him out. You can always take him out of the game when he's screwing up the offensive rhythm, and that will put other guys at the free throw line. And that's enough to get a lot of guys going. I think Jalen Brunson is very good at proficient at the free throw line. If he's hitting free throws, that's going to be a problem for the Hawks because a good free throw shooter, especially of one of his caliber, is generating 1 point per shot. That's about the same offensive rate that you're going to get good offenses at anyway. If you're averaging 1 point a shot, that basically means you're shooting 50% on your twos. That basically means you're shooting around 33% from three as a team on your threes. So that's actually decent to get offense. Now, you want to be hitting your twos at a higher percent closer to the basket, obviously, but that still adds up after a while. And that could be really problematic if you're trying to win games and you got guys at the free throw line get into the bonus really easily. Cat went 10 for 10 from the free throw line. He had 3 blocks. He had 20 points. Cat hit a dagger shot, and this game had already been broken wide open at this point. I did not note why the game was broken open for a multitude of reasons. One, it was the same that had the game as close as it was previously, except the Hawks could not buy a basket. I was ready to move off from this game, and I was ready to move into my final game of the night, Lakers versus Rockets. Now, let me reference this really quickly. I want to show you something. These are my notes for the Cavs game. They continue all the way to here. Goes all the way down to here. And this is my notes for the Nuggets. Nuggets go here. All the way down here. We get to the Atlanta Hawk game on this page. All the way down to here, the Atlanta Hawks go. And this is my notes. This section right here, 2 or 3 lines, is my notes for the Rockets game. Does anyone want to take a guess on why my notes for the Rockets games is so skimpy and so little? You would be correct. You'd be correct. It's because Kevin Durant did not play last night. Now, I have 2 lines of notes. So do you want to know what the first line of note is? The first line is the actual game itself. There's not me keeping the score. I did not think to keep the score. I did not think to think any of that. Do you know why? When Kevin Durant was not playing, this team could not get a quality shot to save them life. And when Kevin Durant's also not playing, they're also somehow missing defensive intensity. Now, Kevin Durant is in his 17th season. Sorry, Curry's in his 17th season. KD's in his 20th season in the NBA. 20 seasons in the NBA. This is year 20 for KD. Rory was getting whatever shot he wanted, and it was going in. Luke Kennard got whatever shot he wanted and was going in. He shot a perfect 5 for 5 from 3, actually. He led all scorers. Reed Shepherd could not buy a basket last night in moments. Alfred Sengun looked awful last night. He doesn't space the floor, and if he's not getting those tough shots to roll, hey, brother, he's not doing anything. Amen Thompson, I'm going to give Amen Thompson some slack. I'm going to give him some slack. Now, he didn't get 20 points in a night where KD don't play, but I'm going to give him some slack. Jabari, I saw one of your shots go off the backboard, and I'm not talking about the front. I'm talking the side. That can't happen. That can't happen if y'all expect to win games. That cannot happen. Ayton looked dominant last night, and he's looked dominant every single time they played against the Rockets. Because Sengun is a mop defensively. He is not doing shit defensively. As far as Marcus Smart, glue guy, did everything he could do for last night. LeBron had 10 assists last night, 10 points. He had a double-double, and he didn't have to shoot the ball a lot. This team was winning the minutes even when Bronny was on the court. That is a problem for this Rockets team. Going down and losing one game. And I know you don't have home court, right? Fine, whatever. The role players are always going to play better at home. Got it. They need to win a game in LA to win this series. They have to. They are the lower seeded team. If they don't figure out something in the next game, in game 2, there is going to be a problem, because I think LA can steal a game off of them from Houston. And by the way, I don't know if you know this, Luka is a lot closer to coming back than people might realize. He went to Spain to get those ejections. He's a lot closer to coming back than people realize. That's going to wrap it up for me. Like, comment, subscribe, all the fun stuff. The games are literally starting right now. I went out to breakfast, obviously, but the games are starting like right now. Good luck. Good luck, everybody. Have fun. Root for your team. Blah, blah, blah. Bye.